Before I head out for tonight's hog hunt, I'm going to give you my review of this handheld monocular that I have been reviewing for Night Vision Outfitters. This is the mini iRay, the MH25 model, and I'm going to tell you the 4 things that I like and the 4 areas that can use improvement with this thermal. The first thing is 3 things in the same thing, but they all tie in, is this has to be the clearest thermal I have ever gotten behind. Now this does have an aftermarket ocular here, and this is an absolute game changer for this system. So the first thing I like is its clarity, its field of view, and its depth perception. Hold on, my dog wants to get in really quick. Say hello to Chris. I already talked about the clarity. The field of view has been a lifesaver for me because I think it starts off at a 1.0 or maybe a 1.2, and at least on 3 different hunts, I was looking straight down at the ground with this so I wouldn't step on any sticks because I was spotting and stalking hogs through some very thick woods. And it saved me. I shot all those hogs, put it right in the neck, and every one of them dropped. And the next thing that I really want to talk about is its depth perception. Now, many of the earlier thermals that came out, and a lot of your entry-level thermals, and even the thermal that I'm running right now, the Fluor 736, you can't really see depth perception. You look through your thermal and you're wondering if that thing is maybe 50 yards, if it's 120 yards, if it's 180. It's really hard to get depth perception with a lot of thermals that are out there. But with this guy, especially on black hot, and I really hope the video is able to pick that up, you can see depth perception, and there is no question whether you are close or far away from the animal that you are targeting. So number 1, its clarity, field of view, and its depth perception is a game changer. The second thing that I like is its ease of use. If you notice, there is one button, there is one compartment for the battery, and you control everything by this one button right here. So it is very simple for guys who need really quick systems in the field. The next thing obviously is its size and weight. When it comes to its size, this is about 3/4 the size of my iPhone 10. And I want to show you my monocular. This is the Pulsar Axion XM30. And you want to talk about, and when it has the original ocular, it's only about that far, so it's about 3/4 the size of the Pulsar Axion XM30 here. And when it comes to weight, this mini iRay has the same weight as my Vortex rangefinder. It's definitely lighter than my Pulsar Axion XM30. And finally, the last thing that I really like about this thing is it has a plethora of options on here. And I'm going to just turn you over to Myron's review because he really gets into a lot of the options in there. I got to tell you, for the way that I use this, there's a lot of things and features on here that I will never use. But there's a lot of options for you guys who like to tinker with it. 4 areas that can use improvement is the original ocular that comes with this system maybe measures at a 0.75 to an inch at most. This aftermarket ocular is 1.450 or 1.50 diameter, and it is an absolute game changer. And once you put this on, you will never put the other one back on here. The second area that could use improvement is it may be user error on my side, but whenever I turn the unit off and then would turn it back on, it would not save my last setting. Now I prefer to use a black hot, and whenever I turned it back on, it would always return to a white hot. Again, it's a very simple system. All you do is punch it one time to get it to change, and then you slide it over the color palette and hit it one time, and it would be on black hot. But again, that may be user error, and if so, Myron will correct me below. Now the last 2 issues that, or at least issues that I have, this doesn't have a recording unit. As you can see here, it's a very simple monocular. It's very light, very easy to use. But if you do want to record, you're going to have to come up with a recorder system and all the wires that go along with it. And you could tell this was a nightmare. And you'll see in a couple of videos how I had this thing all rigged up. If you're running a helmet, which this thing is designed to run on a helmet, you could have all that on there and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And finally, the last thing is that it doesn't have a sleep mode. You can turn it off. It's very simple. Like I said earlier, you turn it on by holding the button down for a second, and you turn it off by pointing it straight down and holding it down for a second. And That second doesn't sound like it's a big deal, except when you're spotting and stalking and your battery is low. I wish it had a sleep mode on there, and it may be something that they will do in the future. So my thoughts on the Mini iRay: I was never able to test this system to its maximum range. The farthest I was able to get was 1,200 yards, and I was able to see cattle clearly at that distance, and even calves at that distance, but I was only able to record through my phone, so it's not a clear image. The other thing is the battery life. The battery life on there is what you would expect. It uses the CR123 batteries here. And I was able to get 2 hours, and I actually tested this. I got 2 hours straight on a Stremlite CR123. And Myron gave me these rechargeable batteries here. And these also lasted 2 hours. Now, it does come with this attachment to where you can stack two CR123 batteries on top of each other. And I'm assuming you're going to get 4 hours out of it with that use. What else are you guys going to want to know? Why don't you post your questions if you have any questions below? What I'm going to do now is I have done a lot of video, and I'm just going to basically play those videos and watch it, and I'll comment afterwards. What you doing? This thing is so awesome. Get out, get out. At the top end of this property, in that back corner, is just probably at 375, 400 yards. It doesn't look like there's anything out right now. And this is black hot. Nope. Got a deer right there. Apologize, this is white hot. Yeah, just a deer. Probably some more deer right there. Y'all want to guess where my dog's been laying down? Oh, that's wicked. Now, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but there's actually a lens protector here. See that? You can actually close that lens up there. Watch what happens. I'm going to do its maximum focus at that 230, 40-ish yards area. Oh, we've got something in the field. Watch what happens when I start to close this. See that? Look at that. It's clarifying things closer away. And that's not the focal lens. While the night is early, I wanted to show you guys something here. And this is at a one-time view looking at the iRay. At the very bottom of the screen is roughly at about 7 yards. And if you go to the farthest top part, you're looking at about 250 yards. This is really important when you are looking for an animal, because all you're having to do is keep your thermal in one spot and use your eyes. Now I'm going to switch to the Pulsar Axion XM30. And this being a 4x zoom, at the bottom of the screen is 60, and I'm probably looking at maybe up to 100 yards there. And here I'm only looking at the next section of the field to maybe the far end of the pond. And now I'm looking at the same distance as the iRay. So you don't want a scanner with a lot of zoom. You really want to keep it as tight as possible, because here I'm having to use a lot of movement to find anything that comes into the field. But with the iRay, I just kind of leave it in one spot and use my eyes. So when you're looking for a scanner, find the most minimal zoom as possible. This could be considered a negative of having a one-time zoom. You can see that there's a hot signature out there, but it's really hard to see what it is. But with the quality of this thermal, let me go ahead and zoom in, and you can see on the top left, I'm at a 2x zoom, 2.1 now. And let me clear up this picture here. You can easily tell that that's not a critter, but those are logs there. Let's go to the far end. It looks like we've got a rabbit under the feeder up there at about 230 yards. Let me go switch over to my Pulsar Axion XM30. All right, see here, you can easily tell that those aren't critters with the Pulsar Axion XM30 with a 4x zoom. So the negative of having a 1x zoom is you can't see things at a distance super clear, but again, the quality of clarity that the iRay has is phenomenal. quick scan of the field. It's about 9:45. Feeder went off about 15 minutes ago. Cattle are probably about 50 yards-ish. That one's 75. Another 50-yard cow. These horses are off to be about 100 yards. That one's probably 175-ish. Give you a little zoom. Yeah, you could barely see him. Look at that. Hope you guys enjoyed the review of this mini iRay that Night Vision Outfitters has been so kind to let me demo for the past few months. I have over 150 hours of in-field use with this system, so if you have any questions at all, please comment below and I will reply to you in a timely manner. If you can't tell, I really am excited about this, but I'm more excited about the potential of what this can be. Now, if you've been around night vision hunting since Gen 2 night vision, PVS 7, or the Gen 3 PVS 14, when you look at this, you know what I'm about to say. When you see this housing, the way the button structure is, the way the forward screen protection is here, forward lens protection here, the ocular in the back, and even where the battery is to be replaced, you know what I'm about to say. This is screaming to be a attached thermal. I don't know if the company has plans to make that happen. My buddy Sean's got one exactly laid out just like this, and he would attach his Night Vision Gen 3 PVS 14 line up on his target, and he would be good to go. So I got to get ready to go shoot a hog because I know they're coming in the field. So if you have any questions, comment below and stay tuned for my next adventure.